Hello everyone, Merry Christmas. Welcome to Joe's Stories. Just getting out of the movie Ferrari, directed by Michael Mann. Amazing. Effing amazing. What a great movie. It took a little bit just to get going. But once it did, it was almost like a tempo. Like it paced itself, and in the beginning you're kind of like, okay, it's taking a minute, but once it really goes, like there's a few moments in the movie where you just find yourself just watching and just really just enjoying the hell out of it. You know, I'm a big Michael Mann fan. I grew up watching Last of the Mohicans. I also love Heat. I saw it in the theater when I was 9 years old, I believe, maybe 10. I'm not sure. And I always liked, you know, the actors that he chooses, the style, the soundtrack, meaning the score, is always spot on. And everything he does, he's very passionate about everything that he does, which is great. It just makes you really, really appreciate what you're seeing. And the guy's, you know, in his 80s now, and definitely is one of the greats, without a doubt. And this is no different. I mean, this was really, really done very well. It was very tight as far as, you know, like the editing and things like that. I think it was maybe like a little over 2 hours, maybe like 2 hours and 15 minutes or so. I'm not too sure. You know, I'll start out, I'll say, you know, the main actor, Adam Driver, you know, he's about as talented as it gets. Obviously, you know, as you get older, it's kind of weird because, you know, the actors that you like, you know, when you're younger are always older. And now that I'm older and I'm getting close to 40, I'm 39, you know, the actors that I find, you know, that I like are now way, way older. And I believe Adam Driver's in his early 40s or late 30s, I'm not too sure, but more or less the same age bracket as myself. So it's always kind of different because you're looking at them, you know, not like contemporaries, because obviously I'm not in a professional acting field. But as far as contemporaries, just as far as age, you know, like who can you look up to, or who can you admire, or different things like that. And, you know, I always admired, you know, like the actors that will transform themselves into character. I really, really like those guys the best. You know, Christian Bale's one of them. They really, really go out, and he does it. He does it. He goes for the accent. He doesn't pull punches. I probably gained a few pounds to play this character, who I believe is about 59, pushing 60, Enzo Ferrari, and it was a great performance, without a doubt, a great performance. And if, you know, the Academy Awards was what it was when I remember it, that's a nomination, without a doubt, a nomination for director, picture, actor, and lead actress Penelope Cruz. Without a doubt, she hit her marks superbly. You know, based on the script and the material, the writing was great, but, you know, it always comes down to the performance, and she really, really knocked it out of the park as well. And just watching this movie, you see this guy who's the main character, Ferrari. It's only a certain moment of his life, and you get a lot of backstory through different vignettes and things like that, and it really catches you up. And I guess that's always kind of like the beginning of a movie, you know, where it takes a minute to kind of catch you up. You know, that's why you're just taking in a lot of information, and you're just sitting there, you know, before the ride even really begins. Just everything that he had to go through, you know, through the movie, and the process of everything that he was dealing with, all at the same time, is just like, you know, being a male and getting older and understanding all these things that you have to maneuver, it makes you emotional because you're just like, holy shit, like just this kind of stuff, just happens. And, I connect with it, and I connected with it, and it's just like, oh my God, I will say that they saved the racing for when they needed it, and they didn't want to outplay it early in the picture. It was teased, and I'm telling you, man, I wish that this thing was in freaking IMAX. I know they have Aquaman took all of the IMAX theaters. I wish it was in IMAX just from the racing, because even though I was in a small theater, oh man, like, how like whenever you hear a good song, or you're in a fast car, something, or you're at a sporting event where 50,000 people, 40,000 people are screaming at once, and you get that feeling. Watching this movie during the racing, I got that feeling, and it was just, the cinematography was about as good as you can get, and I believe that they were at these locations. I don't think this is computer animated or generated. Probably some stuff for special effects, obviously, if you're going to watch the movie, but driving through the Italian countryside and the mountain ranges and the towns, I'm not too familiar with the names of the towns, but ancient architecture, and you're just like, wow, this is so freaking cool, man. This is so amazing. I love the score. I've seen Michael Mann movies before. I know that there's a dramatic arc to the score. It was just, about as good of a movie that I can imagine. I really enjoyed it. I don't even know, man. Usually I go 1 out of 10. I mean, I would have to say, for me personally, this is an instant classic. I almost want to just go 10 out of 10. Honestly, I mean, I just want to just say, you know what? This is a 10 out of 10. It always takes, I always like to hold back a little bit. 9.5, 9, 8.75. I get a little technical with this stuff. But, yeah, man, like, it was just an absolute thrill ride. But what it reminded me of watching it was in the old days of watching movies where there was drama in the scene, not in the action, not where someone needed to jump off of a building. There was drama in the scene, and just with people moving around and walking from one room to another, or interacting with their fellow actors in the scene. The characters are interacting with each other, and it's quiet, and they're talking, and they're moving around. And the movie takes place in 1957 in Italy. I believe the town, or the city, is called Modena. And it was just like, you're in this world of just cars, costume design. Everybody has their appropriate costumes, and just everything around it, just everything. The inside of the houses, the plates, the glasses. They're pouring glasses of wine. The music in the background, if they're in that type of setting. The hairstyles, everything, the sunglasses, everything. It was just really done about as well as you can imagine. It was a full house. I always like to react to what I'm seeing on the screen. I didn't have a problem with anybody around me. It was great. It was a great movie. It's the kind of movie that you want to stay until the credits are finished, because there's a great song at the end during the end credits, and it was just such a home run. I feel very proud that I got to see something like that, and I know that this was a passion project for the director for many years, and he wanted to see it through. And I would absolutely highly recommend to support this film, because it was about as amazing as anything, I've ever seen on screen. And like I said, it takes a minute to get going with all the information and things happening. And it does take a minute for you to find empathy for the lead character, which can kind of, take you, because he's doing a lot of things and showing you a lot of things. But after a while, you kind of catch on, and you find empathy for the other characters around the main character as well. And it just, I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, the driving I really, really liked. The noises, the sound of the engines, and just seeing everything. I mean, just seeing those cars, man, from the 1950s, Ferraris driving around, not just Ferraris, because you're seeing different companies. Mercedes, I saw. I believe there was Maserati, um, and Fiat, I believe. And there's a few other Italian cars, and it was just the representation of that era and of racing, and just the way the scenes were set up. There's a great scene where Ferrari, the main character, Enzo Ferrari, sitting at a table, and he's talking to everybody, and it just reminded me of the Leonardo da Vinci painting The Last Supper. Where everybody's on one side. Now, in the scene, not everybody's on one side. They're sitting at a table around it, but it's just the way it was framed, and the way that they spoke, and the way that they were, like brothers. And it was really, really cool just to see that. So I would highly recommend the movie. I'll go 10 out of 10. Something that, for me, really, really strikes me as something very, very entertaining, and something you don't really see anymore. Considering, the director's 80-something years old, you don't see these kinds of movies being made anymore. It has, I know Michael Mann is quick, cut, fast. It's great, but just the way they did it, man. 10 out of 10, without a doubt. So highly recommended. Go see Ferrari, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.